Welcome to Relevant Happenings. Let us look at the relevant happenings of today. Today, we will see why Russia team is not allowed to participate in Olympics. Then we will see who is the youngest medalist in Olympic history. We will also see why is Indian Army installing cameras and sensors at LAC and other relevant happenings, so stay tuned. Russia, considered as one of the top sporting nations around the world, but in this Tokyo Olympics 2020, they will not be allowed to use Russia's name, anthem or flag, although we will witness 335 sportspersons from Russia competing. Why is it so? The World Anti-Doping Agency in December 2019 had banned Russia for 4 years from competing at Olympics, Paralympics or World Championships, including the Tokyo Olympics 2020 and the FIFA World Cup 2022. Russia has been for a long time being accused of running a doping program. Russia's anti-doping lab was suspended in 2015 after a series of investigations by the International Olympic Committee, World's Anti-Doping Agency, as well as other global federations. It was found that Russians were doing tests in their own labs and clearing athletes to compete in events, which was found after multiple investigations by the World Anti-Doping Agency. In September 2018, World Anti-Doping Agency asked Russia to hand over data of its athletes from the Moscow laboratory to the doping agency, upon which Russia was found charged with a state-sponsored doping scheme and tampering of data provided by the Russian anti-doping agency. After the 4-year ban sanctioned in 2018, Russian athletes were not allowed to represent Russia at the 2018 Winter Olympics. The International Olympic Committee had also removed 111 athletes from the Rio Olympics, which included its entire track and field athletes. Russia appealed against their 4-year ban against IOC, which the Court of Arbitration for Sport in 2020 reduced to a 2-year ban. But the ban ensured that no Russian athlete or team will represent Russia as a country at any sporting event during the banned period, which will end on December 17, 2022. So this is why we find no Russian athletes participating under Russian flag in Tokyo Olympics. Moving ahead, Indian Army has installed cameras, sensors along LAC at IndiaChina border. This move was taken to track Chinese movement in eastern Ladakh and other parts of LAC. De-escalation between the Indian Army and Chinese People's Liberation Army in eastern Ladakh is far from complete. Both forces have been engaged in an intense military standoff along the line of actual control since May of last year. The Indian Army has now deployed motion-sensitive cameras and sensors to monitor Chinese activity in forward areas along the LAC. The equipment includes PTZ pan-tilt-zoom cameras and sensors. Such state-of-the-art equipment will not only enable the Indian Army to keep track of the adversary but also send out a timely warning in case of any escalations. The plan to set up a surveillance net along the LAC had been in play for some time, but the military standoff in eastern Ladakh has prompted to fast-track the process. It is now coming to light that the number of tents set up by the Chinese PLA at Charding Nala in Demchok in eastern Ladakh has come down. This disputed area is around 10 kilometers from the spot where an escalation was recorded in the summer last year. India and China will further discuss engagement during the 12th round of talks to be held in the next few days. The Chinese had suggested that the talks be held on July 26. However, India had sought a different date for the talks since July 26 is celebrated as Kargil Vijay Divas in honor of the Indian Army's victory over Pakistan in 1999. Kargil Vijay Divas is commemorated every 26 July in India to observe India's victory over Pakistan in War of 1999 for the liberation of sections of Kargil district from Pakistanis on 26th of July. Now, moving ahead to the next happening, Singapore's Sunseap Group is going to build world's largest floating solar farm in Indonesia. Sunseap Group's floating solar farm will be located on the Duryakang Reservoir in Batam Island, Indonesia, which will be spanning around 1,600 hectares. The reservoir over which the floating solar plant will be set up serves as a source of fresh water to Batam Island. This island is just 20 kilometers from Singapore. It will be the largest solar floating farm in the world. Floating solar systems will go a long way to address the land constraints issue that the urbanized parts of Southeast Asia face in tapping the renewable energy. Since they lacked in land resources, they have opted to use water resources, thus making floating solar farm. The floating solar farm project will also be paired with more than 4,000 megawatts of energy storage, making it one of the largest combined solar and storage projects in the world. Energy generated and stored by the world's largest floating solar plant will supply non-stop solar energy round the clock. Construction of this ambitious project is due to begin in 2022 and is planned for completion in 2024. Moving ahead, at 13 years, skateboarder Momiji Nishida of Japan just became one of the youngest gold medal winners ever at the Olympic Games. Nishida took home the gold in the women's street skateboarding competition in which she had debuted in Tokyo for the first time. However, the youngest gold medalist ever was Marjorie Jestring, who dominated the women's diving competition at the 1936 Berlin Games at age 13 years and 268 days, while Nishida is approaching to her 14th birthday. Moving ahead, Kandla in Gujarat has become the first green social economic zone of our country. Kandla SEZ is now awarded the IGBC Platinum rating. IGBC, which refers to Indian Green Building Council, is part of the Confederation of Indian Industry. Kandla Special Economic Zone, the oldest export zone in the country and has become the first green industrial city in India under IGBC Green Cities rating for existing cities in industrial cities category. So these were the relevant happenings of today. Hope you liked the initiative. If you find the video as relevant as the happenings, kindly like, comment, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.